Everyone, this is Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. As we had planned, today being October 8th, but we're going to be covering what is acknowledged for the month of October. And October is also known as the Family History Month. So we wanted to expound upon that and talk about what about family history is so important. Family history is more than just genealogy. It's learning the history of our ancestors that helps us gain a greater understanding of the challenges they faced and compassion for our senior loved ones. I couldn't agree more. Having genealogy is really important. Learning about our ancestry, also our DNA, and also our healthcare issues. But knowing about our genealogy and how we came to existence ourselves is really something really special. And it's unique and it's special to us. So a little bit about Family History Month. It is celebrated every October. It is a terrific opportunity to enhance your genealogy abilities, learn about new resources, and meet people who share your interest in the past. Explore this local at the library systems in your area and genealogical societies and find out what events are taking place in your area. If you don't have time to attend a Family History Month event, there are plenty of ways to commemorate the holiday by working your family at home. Couldn't agree with you, Ed, more. Every opportunity that you may get, that you get a little bit of history from your senior loved ones is valuable. Actually, it's priceless. Since the dawn of time, family history has been significant, and their significance has only increased in recent years. The family histories of individuals tell them who they are, where they originated from, and which notable relatives that they may have descended from. The accolades and shame of everyone who had come before them, believed to be intubated by the bloodlines of many different types of people in the past who have held history in high regard. The importance of one's history was so great throughout the Middle Ages that entire books detailing every nobleman's pedigree across the various nations were published. In the field of genealogy, the science of researching one's family history is known as genealogical research, and it has become increasingly important in recent years for reasons other than simply tracking down one's lineage. Many illnesses, hereditary, which means that they are passed from one generation to the other through mother or father. Physicians can watch out for these illnesses during routine health checkups, and they may be able to prevent progression as you age as a result of tracking your family history. After all, who would have guessed that Family History Month is as much about where an individual came from as it should be where they might be going? Because of our most important recent technological advancements, it is much more feasible to assure that people that their progeny, I guess it's how you pronounce it, will have longer and healthier lives. So I couldn't agree more. Now we have a lot more ability to researchers that we do have technology, and we gain a whole host of information, as I had mentioned, and as it's been dictated, that, there's family health history as well. But the lineage is so important as well, too, and maybe faith, whether you're descendants from and where your ancestors came from, or how they combined. Your grandparents, one might have came from one country and another one might have come from another country. So it really becomes not only the melting pot that you get to learn about your family history, but it is so much beneficial to pass along to the next generations. Some good facts about history, Family History Month. Why is it important to remember our ancestors? Learning the history about our ancestors, we really get to appreciate their journey. I could speak for myself. My ancestors all came from Italy. And, hearing the stories my grandparents have told me will be always etched in my heart that I relate over to my children as well, is that my grandmother was one of 6 children and she was 9 years old. So she came over with her father, and her mother stayed back in Italy, unfortunately was ill. Unfortunately, my great grandfather had to go back to Italy after my great grandmother had passed away, and unfortunately he took ill, and he remained in Italy and went to heaven. So my grandmother, at a very young age, was the matriarch of her family. Coming here to the United States at such a young age, she kept tradition, but she also appreciated being a citizen, and spoke English in the household just the same. But the struggles of her being 11 years old and being the matriarch of her family and cooking and doing all that's necessary to hold the family unit together. My grandfather on my maternal side, just the same. He came here with his sister, who was older. He was only 11. And my grandfather's brother, which is my great uncle, ended up getting separated from them from coming from Italy, and he went to Buenos Aires. And the ironic part is they were reunited like 40 years later, and on TV. So the appreciation of how they got to this country, legally, of course, and how they appreciate being citizens is etched in my heart that I'm very, very proud of. And we carry on their traditions as well, being of Italian nationality. And ironically, this October is Italian Heritage Month. So it really coincides with Family History Month as well. So believe it or not, that genealogy actually goes back into the Bible. It actually shows you the lineage of how we progressed in time, and how it is important, how we became the descendants of our creator. So genealogy has always been around, so to speak. What did we inherit from our ancestors? Besides the DNA that we inherit, we actually inherit traditions. We inherit our health basis as well too. But our motivation, more importantly than anything else, is to progress further. Pardon me, to progress in not only our heritage, but also to progress in our lineage too. So procreating and growing the family unit. The DNA is really important too, because, there's a lot of testing that can be done today. So, sometimes you don't realize what is in your DNA that could affect even procreating as well too. So, 5 interesting facts about genealogy. It can actually reunite families. I know our family on my husband's side, there is a group of us that get together from time to time, and now we have technology because we're spread across the United States, is that we, come together maybe month to month at one point, and actually talking about our histories. And it's our, distant cousins, and it's really neat to talk about. We were all together in the same town at one point, my husband's family. And, like I said, we dispersed around the United States, but now coming together and actually talking about those great times and knowing that history is wonderful. So it carries on to traditions to even our children as well, too. So it becomes a family gathering of knowledge and actually of celebration. It can actually help with genetic diseases as well too. So knowing your DNA and knowing your metabolic panels and all that is really important. Your family history that plays a very, very big part in maybe progressing in a certain time of certain kind of illness or cancer that is something that could be preventable, especially if it's there in that ancestry. So there's certain kind of testing to do that. Like in breast cancer, there's actually doing the BRCA testing. Insights from genealogy can actually help. And if you're interested in history and knowing where ancestors lived, and how they lived is important. Again, for appreciation of where they are now. Pardon me. It can track family wealth. It's funny now that, working with senior placement, that we talk about trust and wills and all that. But it's also very important to know that we might do have ancestors that are part of our family that we don't know of, and they're bequeathing us money, believe it or not. So, it is a tracking of wealth, but it also keeps track of the land that might have been reserved for family units, and the power that they have that goes along with it as well, too. Genealogy can explain culture. It's funny, especially myself being Italian and belonging to an Italian club. And there's even competition, even in certain parts of Italy, that the northern is very different from the south. So it is pretty fun, especially one cooks this type of sauce, this one cooks gravy. So the different types of cultures, depending on where you're from, is great, even from country to country, but even within the same country. So, but the traditions that carry forth and the cultures, and sometimes also your religious beliefs also carries through with it. Why we love Family History Month, it gives a sense of identity. It actually brings us to know who we are and why we are who we are. I know a lot of folks that might have been in the foster system or adopted, they really don't know their full identity. So really going through their genealogy and getting reports, they really could come to know who they really are. And sometimes actually, believe it or not, their religion changes from where they were, maybe when they were created. Their names actually change, but they get to know who their real parents or their real lineage is. So it gives you a sense of identity. It also fosters interpersonal relationships. Again, culture. Like I said, we belong to the Italian club. It also forced us to have likes and dislikes as well too. So that's the neat part of it is we love our culture and our heritage, that we really feel that belonging to such an organization is that we give back because our ancestors gave to us. So now we progress that along to our generations to come. And it really with our group, who is what we call a lodge, and ours is called Una Familia, and it's actually one family is what it says. We actually have scholarships. So there is wonderful things that we give to the people of our heritage that we give away. So again, interpersonal relationships. It also aids in making wise health decisions, having a rich history of knowing where we came from, and also our ancestors is very, very important. So this way we could be proactive, maybe preventative, or know the line of treatment that is really appropriate for us. So here's some great activities to have during this time. Investigate your ancestry. There is no better thing of learning is to learn where you came from and how you got here. And maybe putting it in a book, typing it up, putting in an electronic system that you could share with other members of the family as well too, and a key safe that you could put on a disk, thumb drive, that you could pass to generations to come. Start writing about your own experiences. I always talk about people about journaling for their senior loved ones. Nothing better than that you could actually write about your own experiences with you and your senior loved one. So when that person passes, your senior loved one, that the generation of today didn't even have the opportunity of meeting them, actually seeing a video or a taped recording is something that can be passed along. So genealogy is really, really great as it written down, or and also you could lend your feelings into it as well too. Maybe even talk about the pictures that you're saving, albums that you could actually define who's who in those pictures as well. Make contact with long lost relatives. I love this. Now there is no reason, especially with technology as it is. There is FaceTime, there is emails, there's texting of ways of keeping in contact with one another. And like I said, with my husband's family, getting on Zoom meetings and having, frequent times that you could get together. Very hard when you cross the United States, but for 1 hour, maybe a month, maybe a quarter, you can arrange it. Nothing is more important than family, and believe it or not, it extends over time. So, and how it grows, and that you don't even realize that you might even have cousins and family in other areas, and that you could actually communicate with. So, during this month, make it happen. Enjoy Family History Month. Not only your little unit of family with your senior loved ones and beyond, and come to appreciate where they came from, and that's how you came to where you are today. Next week, as always, I always tell you what the next topic is going to be, and we're actually talking, because it's another thing for this month, it is long-term care planning month. So we'll be talking about that next week. At any time that you would like to get in touch with me, I always give you my website. It's www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. There you will find my biodemographics, testimonials, various options, resources, and a whole library of all these video talks as well, and a good way of getting in touch with me. As always, have a blessed week, and I will see you soon. Have a good one. Make sure you get in touch with family and enjoy it and celebrate it. Bye-bye now.